Trying to get started here. So first things first, the agenda for this budget meeting. We'll once again review fund balances, bond project tracking sheet, the capital expense plan. We're just going to go over the overview on that. The draft fund budget, macroeconomic trends, a summary, and then we'll get back into the decisions on the budget planning document. So we'll probably go through this presentation portion relatively quickly, as there are not that many changes here. The most significant changes are here in this group. We did move quite a bit of funds from the checking account funds to reserves. So you'll see that the road fund now has a road fund reserve. It did not prior. So now our calculation is that this will probably make us about $20,000 next year by moving stuff into money market max accounts. So the road fund reserve and the sewer fund were the biggest changes on this round. But the overall total amount has gone down significantly as well, because we have received quite a few pay apps, which are what we receive from contractors doing the infrastructure work. And we have not received any of the grant funding yet, although that is, we have $1 million being processed by Alcosan right now. We're just shy of $1 million. It's, I think, 970 some. That is being processed right now, that we hope to get next week, that will bring us back up, because our bond fund reserve, you can see, is down to $781,000 right now because of that. And so that's the biggest change here, and we're keeping a close eye on that. And we should start seeing significant funding come back in from both the work being done on Steuben, and now we're starting to get pay apps in, and we're going to start asking for money back from the Broadhead project. So that's the biggest update on the current account status. The bond project tracking sheet has been updated as well. I did add in the decisions that we had made, and I made some additional changes, and I also added in the and calculated the potential for the public works ask that is going to be on the meeting today, so we'll deal with that. I have not gotten the reconciliation down below that $3,700 mark. I have not updated it with current October numbers, so that will be coming soon. And that bond tracking sheet has the actual cost spreadsheet. That's what hasn't been updated yet, so we'll be updating that before the next meeting. And I did not update the after committed projects. We are now down to just over $1 million after committed and completed projects. And for proposed projects, that number has dropped a little bit as well. I just didn't update it on this round. I will update that at the next meeting. 5-year capital improvement plan hasn't changed from these meetings, so this isn't really a change. This is just what our 5-year capital improvement plan looks like for these different departments. And this is equipment, not infrastructure. We did not have infrastructure included in this, in these 5-year capital improvement plan. Moving on to the draft budgets, these are the general numbers that we're going to see. We're at about $6.69 million for the general fund, $8 million for the bond fund, $2.6 million for the sewer fund, and just over $1 million for the road fund. And actually, that's changing from where that was. I've updated, this is the same as what it was as well. This is just reiterating that the macroeconomic trends, every year real estate taxes go lower compared to inflation because we don't do reassessments. And so it's something that we really need to keep an eye on. And then, so in summary on this this quick overview, the budget that we're proposing is a balanced budget, no tax increase. Overall tax to remain at 8.59 mils. We're going to maintain that all of the money is going to go into the real estate tax in the general fund and none into the road tax, as that the road fund is overfunded at this point, and so we're going to use that in the budget to take care of a few things. So we'll talk about that when we go to decisions. No money is being added to reserves this year. We did add $300,000 to reserves last year. And overall, we have $8 million in infrastructure projects still happening next year. I talked about the macroeconomic trends and how property taxes are far outpaced by inflation. And then again, in this budget, we have a significant number of sewer repair projects, or O&M, what's called operations and maintenance projects. A higher number than we expected. We were hoping to keep it around $300,000, and we ended up with close to $700,000 worth of repairs required. So with that, are there any questions? I know I went over that very quickly before we go to the decisions. Okay, I'll take that as a no, and we'll head to decisions. Okay, so I have updated this decisions page a little bit, and I will share with you what has changed. I'm going to resize this so it's a little bit easier to see more of it, but it's always actually, I'm not going to resize it. I think it's probably better the way it is so that you can see more of it. Let me go to full screen mode here. Find a place to hide all this stuff. And let me make sure I'm sharing the right document again. So I'm going to reshare and move over to this and share. Okay. So now we're on the budget decisions, and you've all had these in your inbox. I will mention, though, two changes that we have made. One is I finally got better quotes regarding the police station. So these quotes have gone up. I had budgeted $2,500. We now have a much better estimate for doing a better job in basically redoing the police room, locker room in the basement. And this does include new lighting fixtures, not new flooring, but deep cleaning of the flooring, paint, and minor fixtures around the corner where they have a sink. So to make this a nicer room down there. So that's $13,000 for that. And then remove and replace the knee board in the police station. That's basically just a very ugly baseboard that's all around the inside of the police station, and then repaint and redo the inside of the police station, really bringing it up to modern standards. So that's the other thing that was added. We also changed, the other change that was made to this was the pool. Oh, the pool. So we had put in there $20,000 for pool liner issues. We now know that it was only for the splash pad. I was not aware of that. I thought that they still had issues in the main pool. They do not. And this is the recommendations. Larry met with a liner expert, I think was it last week? Mm-hmm. And these are the estimates for the repairs currently. So they're recommending that we cover it, which we have never done before. We've generally left it exposed, and he's saying that probably adds to the wear and tear, so he recommends covering it. So and then there's about $5,000 worth of actual liner repairs that should be done on the splash pad. And then he recommended a concrete extension for an area that we've had concern over where it would be at risk of people falling and getting hurt. So combined, that estimate for that work is $9,000. And so those are the two big changes that has happened in the decisions. Every other decision is how it was when you saw it last time. And I hope you have had a chance to look at it a little more closely. I have marked the ones that we've already made. So you see we have no for all the ones in the first section. In the second section, there was someone who said yes to the admin and community center carpet. So I've left that as a yes. We got yeses for the awning for the Borough building, the new AC for the code department, and for the $1,000 for the door for the library. We said yes to the main stage roof, not to the whole stage roof. So that's $10,000 there. We had said yes to the previous pool liner decision, even though it wasn't complete. Now it's $11,000 less than it was. So we have that marked as a yes. And then we have the brush skid steer marked as a yes. The ladder truck, and all the ones marked in gray are ones that were not marked. And I'm realizing might be oh no, this is correct now, I'm sorry. So we had, for the ladder truck was a no, the dog park was a no. For paving, these are the two streets that Larry had pulled out as the most significant need, and we really should do this year. So that's where that $65,000 is. We have $100,000 again budgeted for brick repair. 100,000 for the Ewing Road repairs, and then overall for the general sewer repairs, not broken down by spot or old manhole to manhole liner, is $300,000 in total. The reason I'm doing that as an overall is, and this is a change, this is another change from last time, is we're still not sure from Gateway which are going to be the priority repairs. So we're just budgeting $300,000 for all sewer repairs, with the idea that when we get the itemized list, we can then figure out what those are. So that's the decisions that had previously been made. Those obviously you could change if you want to, but we can start going through them one at a time and seeing if there's any decisions currently. And I did also make sure that everything is now tied back. I know that when I was updating things, I think Matt, you caught that last time, that they weren't updating. I apologize for that. They now are all updating. And so if we make changes, it'll immediately show that. And we can go through them one by one. So with that, is there anything that people would like to revisit first that they would like to do? Like, would you like to consider the police locker room and police station updates? Or would you just like me to go from the top down?
I think for the police ones, the mayor will be here, so let's let her talk. Yeah, let her talk to those two and the need, or what, maybe more details on those ones.
Yeah, I'd be curious about, because the line 18, I don't want to just simplifying, feels cosmetic almost in a way, and I'd like to know more about that.
Yep. Okay.
The pool liner one, so it's the splash pad and the pool liner, it's not the splash pad liner?
It is the splash pad liner, excuse me.
What happened to the pool liner?
The pool liner was not an issue as I thought.
So we don't need to worry about that?
We do not need to worry about the pool liner, yes.
Other one, the door for the library.
Yes.
I know it's a very small amount of money. I'm wondering, is the library board aware of that request? And second off,
Great question.
I have some concerns about that request now as related to child safety, in both emergencies and also with common best practices for child abuse prevention. So
okay.
separating a space by a doorway for children only has bigger implications that I think the library board would need to be aware of and discuss and things.
Even if it's, I thought they were going to be just glass.
It was going to be glass, yeah.
Okay.
The idea is so that you could see through it, but
Yeah.
We can certainly, and that the leadership has changed at the
Yeah, I was
library.
going to say, was that request from them?
No, that was from the previous director who just left.
That's what I mean. So I
Yes.
wonder, that's a good point. Like
Yep.
with change coming and
Yep.
Being that it's a low amount of money too,
Yeah.
that could be something that later on could be.
Yeah. Yep.
Just
I
kind
would
of.
agree with that. I was actually a little concerned about the idea of an old glass door around kids anyways.
Yeah. Best practices from other librarians is that if you have a door separating a children's space, there needs to be another secondary exit in the event that there was a fire or some kind of emergency. Typically doors swinging in and out is code, but in a child situation that it could be blocked on one way or the other is a concern. Secondary concern is anytime that you separate a space physically, there needs to be two adults present for children to prevent typical child abuse laws.
I believe there is an exit on
There
the
is.
I think there is on that
yeah,
side.
on the
There
other
is
side,
where it
yeah.
was gonna be.
Mhm. So they can,
there
there
is
is
an
two
emergency
ways.
exit, so there are two exits, but to the other points, I have not had any discussion with the library about.
Is there a amount that is ideal to keep in our little like reserve bucket? Like I think I asked this last time. Like we don't have to spend this all, right? Because things happen, and it's nice to have a tiny little bit of.
Well, this is already, that is assuming, like that total discretionary is absolutely discretionary funding. The reserve bucket, we are, in the accounts themselves, we are already keeping those reserves. So this is assuming that when you spend all this, we still we still are keeping the reserves where they need to be.
But if we don't use this can go into the reserves
Yeah, absolutely.
next year. So I think the question becomes looking at the items and not like, oh, we have this, can we just spend all this money? Versus, do they absolutely,
Yeah,
like, is
I
this
mean, I agree.
what we definitely need to do?
I would advise that if there's any money left here, it goes into the sewer repair budget.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is going to cost more next year than it's going to cost this year. So putting that in reserve as opposed to just spending it on repairs we know it needs to happen need to happen right now, I would move it to there,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
Well, if we're talking about things we're changing our mind on, sorry, carpet, for here in the, I would think, again, I'm very curious on Coletta's opinion on the lease stuff, but.
I think the carpet
I don't
is,
care about the carpet.
it's, there's like little waves and everything in it, and it's not in great shape. I think it's, even though it's cosmetic, it's also, this is not gonna last. So I think we have to be responsible to say, okay, we should be looking at it just to,
I thought we
Change it.
landed on no for that one, honestly. I don't recall it shifting to yes, and I may just be misremembering, but
Yeah.
I remember saying that we said no to that.
I'm just going off of what was
I
already,
think
what
that
was
was
in
the
here from
community
last time.
center chairs and the repairs to the community center.
Carpet, and I thought we landed on no,
Okay.
because it was cosmetic.
So are we in agreement that I'm gonna switch this to no?
I would not be in agreement.
Last time,
I
last meeting, but
Okay.
maybe I'm misremembering.
mean,
Because I thought we had maybes in here too.
No, I don't have maybes on this list. There's no maybes.
There's no more time for maybes.
No, I thought we did.
That's true.
Decisions need to be made.
I thought we had maybes before.
No, we
before.
didn't, not in the last thing. I mean, we can write them in notes, but I don't have maybes as
No.
one of the selections. There's only lease, yes, and no.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the carpet, but I thought we left it as a no to go through everything else that might be more important, and then we would.
Oh,
revisit.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
recall revisiting it and turning it to a yes, and again, I might just have misremembered something, but.
Yeah, I think it would, honestly, some of these I've made, that when they're going through these choices, if one person adamantly says yes and nobody objects, I just change it to a yes unless somebody objects, and that might have been what happened with that last time.
Maybe.
Okay, so, Mayor, we were waiting for you because the biggest change.
Sorry.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. The biggest
no
change from the last time we met was I got new estimates from the chief on two significant repairs. One is replacing the knee boards around like Barb's desk and the rest of the office where there's the knee wall, and repainting that. Bringing it up to a modern standard, and then so that's $10,200 is the estimate to do all that work, and then the police locker room. I don't know why I say room twice there. Sorry.
Right.
But the police locker room in the basement. Essentially, he went through and got an estimate on replacing lighting and really doing a nicer job of doing that work. So deep clean the floor, replace the cabinetry along the side by the sink, and new light fixtures. So, and they wanted us to wait to make decisions on that based on what your thoughts and what you've heard from folks and what you thought we should be doing with the police department.
It's a real hot button topic, and it's much, much needed. So I know, we're talking about having the chief come and speak after the first of the year to talk about the first 6 months. But one of the most important things, I know when he was here, one of the last times he talked about the evidence situation, and that is, can I say, was really been let go for way too long. And basically, if any of you have not been and toured the police department, their locker room is maybe as wide from the wall to here and about half as long. Yeah. And it's not a good situation, and it is the spot that they have been able to identify that they could use for proper evidence logging and storage. And so I really think that it's extremely important we take care of the locker room, because that's the piece that allows us to get those few lockers out, and it's a really, really nasty place right now anyway, for them to have a little bit more room and, realistic place to shower, locker, lounge, because when they're eating, they're sitting right now at the table where we interview people. If there's just way too much multi-purposing going on in that department.
Yep.
And if we're gonna say no to anything, I'd say the knee boards and making it a little bit prettier upstairs, less important.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, very important for the image that we're trying to do, but definitely the locker room.
Yeah. And another thing they're planning to use that space for is
Is
trainings.
Yes.
Right,
Because
and that's
it's a
something
big
we
enough
have,
space to
we
do
have
that.
zero space to do that right now.
Right, we can't.
Right.
And so, one of the things that the chief has been doing is he's set up, we've already had one, I think it's with the tasers, where we've sponsored the training, which means we cover the expense of the training, and then we get to have our officers go for free, and it's actually doing it that way less expensive. So he's done, a number of things like that to keep our costs down, and having enough room to do some training down there would probably help things along even more.
Yeah.
So I think in hearing this, the locker room sounds like it's important. I think the knee board as a cosmetic thing, I'd be more in favor of carpet that people use, or things that people would see, the community would see as a whole,
Right.
versus
And we might.
only a few residents would see
Exactly.
in the,
And,
down
with a
below.
little investigation, we might find
Yeah.
other ways to rearrange that.
Yeah.
So, if the decision is down to it's one or the other, it really needs to be the locker room.
The locker rooms seem like an obvious yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So where do the cameras, because we have no on all the cameras, just to
Well,
do
Grants?
refresh.
No, we don't actually. They're no for the budget.
Right,
Yes, for using the bond fund on both so we actually got this
right.
quote back now. It's
Yep.
19 something, 19,753 or something. I don't know the exact numbers, I don't want to put it in, but it's just under 20. So these are two have been basically approved to do, we're going to do as soon as we can. And then these we're looking for, they're not budgeted, but we're going to look for grants next year to see
Yep.
what we can pull out on those. That's why I haven't marked in gray.
Yeah, I just didn't want to miss that
Yeah.
conversation, because not everybody was here
Oh, yeah.
before when we discussed the
Okay.
cameras.
Okay, so with the police locker room, we're at 69,000 in discretionary spending.
Can we discuss, and I don't know if I am just not remembering this, but we have floor for community center and carpet for community center? What? Floor for community center, row 15, and then admin and community center carpet, 19?
Oh, that is the floor, that is the tile floor for the community center is the carpet from here all the way into the admin, so that's what the carpet is for. The $11,000 is just for the floor in the community center and the tile coming out, so it's a tile floor. It's two different types of flooring.
Okay, so it's tile there and then carpet here, and that's
Right.
why
And,
it's not
and the
really
carpet
community
is
center
not just
carpet,
here,
It's council chamber, it's chambers carpet.
it's carpet, chambers carpet and administration carpet, so all the way into the administrative building.
Could we maybe change that, so it's just more clear, admin and chambers carpet?
Oh, yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, that's more accurate, yep.
And I think, the floor in the community center is not great. There's tiles that are,
I would probably be in
lifted.
favor of putting that one higher on the priority list.
Yeah.
The community center, because it definitely
I'm
needs
gonna-
a facelift.
I was thinking the same thing when you were talking, because I'm just even thinking of rec board and what we're trying to do next year. I feel like there might be some more events that might be happening in the community center, not just rec board, but in general. So maybe it is time to throw a little improvement into that space.
And I will say that we did get less money from rentals this year, and I don't know if it's because it's starting
well,
to look a little long in the
yeah.
tooth.
It's definitely outdated.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And I think even the window treatments at 3,500, the ones that we have there are just those,
They're pretty bad.
the old
Yeah, they're
things.
bad.
Like, can you get something where you just take all that out and put a bar and some nice little
Yeah,
drapes at Target? For temporary, in between.
yeah,
Because 3,500, I know if you hire somebody and they come in, they're going to charge you that for
yeah.
something, but can we do something that's nice and still have it look better than the slates from 1980?
Yeah, and we're kind of down to that 57,000 left in discretionary, and we've gone through a lot of the other more priorities, and now we're kind of into some of the cosmetics, and maybe that's the right time to start going back and picking, how many of the cosmetic upgrades to the
Yep.
community center do we start with?
I will say that, having done that presentation yesterday, the event yesterday,
Yeah.
the tables and chairs are in pretty bad shape. I mean,
I
we have a lot of
agree.
we have a lot of chairs with holes in them, we have a lot of tables with like ripped ends and,
I went through them all yesterday and looked as I was there, and it's not great.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's
Yeah, it's just
this
not.
carpet for me, it's fine, whatever, and I feel like, sure, there's traffic, we walk on it, but community money, I feel like shows better when it's in a space that people can rent out, we're holding, forums, discussions,
Voting.
free sales, voting,
right.
all that stuff in there, so maybe Kirsten's right, it might be, because we've had this on there, since I've
Yep.
been doing this,
Yep.
3 years?
It's been on there for at least 2 years.
We have several things that could maybe all go together, now that we're
Yeah.
down to the final bits of our discretionary, and we've still got 57 in there. Is it an overall facelift? We've got the carpet to consider, the window treatments, and the furniture.
Is that something we would bid to somebody that would be able to give a
Yeah.
whole price for everything?
Bundle it.
Typically, bidding adds a lot of cost.
Ah.
So if you can avoid having to go out to bid for stuff like that, I mean, because, we can do phone bids and whatnot, but if you're doing a big bid, like having someone, then we have to lay it all out, have all the legal paperwork for it and stuff. I mean, that costs like $2,000 to $3,000 typically to even set it up. So, I mean, I'd prefer to be able to like just figure that stuff out in-house. It's just easier. You just add a lot of expense when you do that. And I think these are relatively easy things. We've already priced out the tables and chairs with different options and whatnot, but yeah.
When you say in-house, do you mean,
I mean, just doing not doing the work in-house,
that's what I
but
was.
figuring
Oh,
out
yeah,
like
like
what needs
we
to.
figure out
Oh,
what
then you
those
get the
costs will
whole
be, it's not
thing.
like we're
Yeah.
going out, okay.
Right,
Got it.
as opposed to like hiring someone who would do
Yeah.
all of this
Okay.
in one thing. I think we're just gonna add a lot of costs, because you have to pay that person to do
Right.
the organization, but.
I think we'd mentioned it last time, but being that this is used for community functions, open to the public and everything, is there an opportunity for grant money for something like this?
I mean, for maintenance stuff, I mean, you might get, it is stuff that is publicly used, but, for this level of cost,
Right,
Not-
and then you're
it's-
gonna be waiting another year
right,
cycle to find out you didn't get it.
right.
You
Can,
can apply this year for the other things that you aren't able to do
Right.
this year that you would like.
Right.
But there aren't many, Jim is right.
so for watching that number at the top, can we make yeses to the community center just to see what
Yeah.
that looks like? Because I'm curious, once we do that, I'd like to see between stage roof, half and whole.
Yep.
Because again, in trying to do more things for the community in that space and all the stuff that happens down there, like,
So it would go down to 25 if I,
Yes to the window treatments.
oh yeah. It would go down to 22 if I do the whole roof. So you still even if you did the whole roof, you'd still have a little bit of discretionary funding.
well, because you could take off can you do the whole and take off the
Yeah.
10,000?
Yeah,
See
that's
that
what
looks
that's
like?
what I was saying. That's why it would drop to 22. What the discretionary funding? I can do
Yeah.
that. Yep. And
Sorry, my math wasn't mathing, I see it now. Yeah. What do you guys think about the roof? Half or whole?
I feel like in the long run, patch jobs tend to be more expensive. I think it would just matter how bad it really is as a whole.
It has no leaks, so.
It has very much so leaks, yeah. lots
oh,
of
it
them.
had the
Lots
big
of
roof
them,
has really
yes,
bad
I've seen them
leaks.
quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, the big roof has really bad leaks. The smaller roof has leaks. They're not as bad, but they need to be replaced relative. I mean, if we don't replace it now, we're going to have to replace it in the next couple years.
What did we learn from the pool bathhouse on the roof? Because we had options to replace the roof and do some things there.
Yeah, we've only fixed that. We've only patched that.
Yeah.
We have not. We have a grant out right now through DCNR that
Right.
the grant that has the slide on it and the pavilion that is has the roof included. So we want to, and I think for that we're just going to wait to see if that grant comes in, and then we can make that decision.
Larry, what's your thoughts?
On
The roof.
Roof.
The roof.
stage roof? I mean, I was just in there like a few weeks ago, working with the electrical contractor, getting new outlets installed, and it was raining that day, and there was a substantial amount of water on that stage floor. And that stage is also wooden.
Yeah.
I think, just, occurring times with water on that is just gonna degrade the floor as well. And there was a substantial amount of water, and there's nowhere to go. So it just ponds on there and just waits to either evaporate or, eventually.
Freeze in winter too and cause
Right.
more damage.
Right.
What about
Yeah.
the rest of it?
So it's definitely
Because
only
I think
leaking.
we'd already discussed we'd at least do the stage roof, right? And the question is, do we do just the stage roof or do we do the whole thing?
I mean, I would at least recommend the stage roof. I took photos that day. I can gladly send them out to whoever is interested, but, I haven't heard much about the other areas, but the stage roof is definitely the concern.
We definitely had leaks. I think the
Yeah.
rec board said that there were leaks on their stuff.
It was brought up yesterday.
Oh,
We were-
okay.
I mean, at the rec board meeting about, wanting to,
In
kind
the
of
storage,
use,
in the
in
storage.
the storage
area.
and the bathrooms, the public bathrooms. Yeah.
And
So
this
this
goes
reflects-
also to Mike. Mike has reached out to. We're starting to look for sponsorships, and if we do get some of those sponsorships, then we'd like to get more professional acts to come to the stage. And if that's the case, we really have to repair that stuff.
So this reflects the community center updates already in the budget
Yep.
and the whole roof in the budget, and
Yep.
it is still working, so it seems like it's worth doing,
Okay.
right? We thought we would do just the stage roof as at the minimum, but if we've got the budget to do the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think so. The only thing that we're leaving out in the first section, the only thing that the
Yeah.
police station, knee board and painting, and then the admin council
orders
chamber
and
carpet. So those are the two possibilities that could be considered yeses for that part.
You still have a no on the children's room door.
Right.
Right. That's only $1,000 though,
Right.
too. Like that's.
We
I mean,
discussed-
we have to
Oh, I'm
find.
sorry.
Yeah, already.
Oh, yeah, we
Security
want-
issues. Yeah, she was.
Oh
here
yeah.
for that,
Sorry, I didn't
yeah.
know you weren't here.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
That's what I get for
that
being late.
Yeah, they made the good suggestion of, because there's leadership change at the library, let's talk to the board and see if they still want that, if that's
Uh-huh.
something of interest. And Mike had, I think, had some conversations with folks and found out that there's security issues around, you should have an adult on both sides of those doors if you do that.
Right.
And so are they prepared for that and
Right.
and whatnot, so,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, that's really the only other decisions are the police station doing those aesthetics, the admin, council chamber carpet, and the library. Because everything else has been, everything else is decided.
I mean, for me, there's nothing else that I feel super strongly like, yes, do it, but I'm certainly open to whatever people want to consider adding in.
I don't mind saying that we could go ahead and do the carpet and or the police station. I might veer towards more the carpet because it covers a good chunk of the building.
And
But
we
I
can
also
also,
feel like we don't know what other needs might come up that are a bit more pressing next
Yeah.
year. I don't feel really strongly about the carpet.
I feel strongly about the carpet because I don't know how old this is, but it is the impression, because we do have meetings here and it's the staff who also have the
I feel
carpet.
like yes, I mean, I feel like if you're improving that space, now it's gonna be like the roof situation, like that space will look very nice, and then you have,
This is gonna look twice as bad.
so,
yeah,
I mean, if you're
it will
going
definitely look a lot
to,
worse once you have the
you
other
know,
space redone, but yeah.
as long as, I feel like, made it pretty clear, like, put a lot of thought and intention to prioritizing all this other way more unattractive, like, infrastructure stuff first, and now it is looking at what can we do, and we do use these spaces a lot, so.
I will say, I know we put this one off for another year, but we're gonna have to update that elevator, and that
Oh.
seems so much more important
Aaron.
than the
Erin's going to be collecting
it.
for that. Erin will be collecting and she'll, yeah, well, she'll be raising the money. Or donation.
So
If I had the money, I would.
the carpet in here in the admin area was, we had actually put that as a decision for yes for this year, and it didn't happen, and we kind of backed off
Right.
on it due to
2 years.
kind of how the
I
budget
think it was
had
2 years.
fluxed this year.
No, only this year we did it. Last year
Okay.
we did not approve it. This year we did approve it.
Is-
Or
is-
for 2025.
Is our plan to sort of space a lot of these cosmetic improvements out throughout 2026? So in the event that we start to get into the third and fourth quarter like we did this year, and we start to go, ooh, where are we landing? Are we in a good spot or are we in a tight spot? And we can back off on some of these things again if we need to. Because the cosmetic stuff is, I think, is obviously, like we said, much less important than the functional, structural things that we're taking care of first. Is that a way that we can do that? Like when it comes to the community center and this carpet, can we say like we do in a lot of the finance meetings, like this is something we want to address in Q1, this is what we're going to address in Q2 and Q3, and maybe some of those other things we kind of push towards the latter part of the year to make sure that we're being financially responsible.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We can definitely say yes to it and then make sure that it's a Q4 project. And if at Q4 we feel like we want to, back off of a couple things, then we can back off of it.
We do have a reserve though, I wouldn't mind, like, I think the carpet could definitely be put off, but if we're going to do some community center upgrades, I wouldn't mind just going ahead and like saying we're gonna commit to this, and then people who are trying to use it for this year know that it's, that those spaces
Yeah.
are coming.
Promote it for graduation parties, get it done early. Baby showers, bridal showers.
Right, cause the longer we put it off, the longer people aren't really
That's,
using
I
it.
agree, I mean, it's like a diet, and then you don't do anything about it till June, what's the point?
I wouldn't mind putting the carpet back on just since it was on last year and just see where we land. And no, it's not a top priority, but it can be on the radar.
Did we have the table and chairs as yeses?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in there.
So all the community
So all the
Yeah.
community center stuff, it will be get rehabbed, so that'll all be redone. With 7,000 left, we can always put that back in the sewer fund and make that the little bit of overage. And go from there.
I mean, I think to Pam's point, even having a bit extra is of course very helpful. So I'd be comfortable with having the extra in case anything happens, salt or any of the things that happen.
Yeah.
We can,
Yeah, I like your plan too, like, we get in a pickle, just don't do carpets.
Just don't do them all.
yeah. So we put them in different quarters and do them at different times.
Okay. So it sounds like we have the decisions and it sounds like we largely have a budget ready to go.
Job well done.
So I think it's, again, reviewing, well, maybe sending everything out again, the whole
I can
thing
send it
with
out.
payroll, all of that stuff to council, and then I believe it's public, or it should be going public too.
We'll make sure it's on. I mean,
Yeah,
we have to,
so
we're
that-
advertising, and that's a motion on the
Today's,
agenda
yeah.
tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then we'll make sure it's on the website and it's available. Anybody can come up to the office
Right.
and pick up a copy if they want.
And then people can make comments if they want during any of the meetings that we'll
Yep.
have. In the final meeting being December 11th to pass. Yep, is
Yep.
what we're going to advertise. Okay.
All right, great. Well, then we can take 15 minutes and
Yeah.